All right, looks like we are live, or going to be live soon on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, let me know, put it in the chat box. And well, yeah, hello and welcome to everybody to another episode of Talk Power BI. I haven't done this in a while, and I should do this more often because if I go too long, then I always I'm worried about the tech or something going wrong. But hopefully everything is working. So of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and click the bell. That way you're notified whenever I do go live. Yeah, pretty cool. So I also have some of my students on the phone, Heather and Tamir, and hopefully more would join. Yeah, so while you guys are joining, I'm gonna maybe just do a quick update of what's going on in my side of the world. Pretty exciting stuff. So let's see if you have been following me on YouTube. We have been running a real Power BI project within the class. So you've seen some updates from me about that. And we're working with a local businesswoman, Kimberly Marie. She's a hairstylist and business coach, and she brought her real business data to our class, and we spent the last 4 weeks working through a project, and it was a great experience. For me, certainly, it reinforced some of the key lessons that I believe in, and the most important being Power BI is Agile BI. So we had a lot of different ideas. We're like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. But we wanted to finish something, like have an end result, something that Kimberly can start using, and then iterate out of that. So hello to folks who are joining on YouTube. Again, put a hello in the chat box. Otherwise, I don't know if you're there. Christian Gustafsson, hello from Bloomington, Minnesota. Awesome. That's great. Ankush is here. Hello and welcome back, Ankush. What other updates? The real Power BI is going on, and then of course the big news is the Power BI Summit, as I like to call it. I really wish that was a name, but it was called Data Insight Summit last year, and this year it's been rechristened Business Application Summit. And I will be speaking there today. In fact, I have 3 different sessions, and I'm pretty excited about that. So July 2024. If you are, Monica says hi from New Jersey. Hello, Monica. So if you just go in there, and it's easier to just search for my last name, Singh. That's how I search. And so I'm doing, this is a full day session, pre-day workshop, and this is a full day session. And yeah, I'm partnering with Matt Allington on this, and I'm super stoked about it. Matt Allington, another close friend first, but yeah, he's also a Power BI superstar, Microsoft Power BI MVP. So we're gonna be tag teaming there, and that's gonna be super cool. And then so that session is sold out, my understanding is. So then I'm doing a repeat of that in the regular conference, just because there was so much interest in there. And this needs to be updated. So Matt is too busy. He's an important guy. so Matt is not going to be there, but essentially I'm going to present my part in the regular session. So if you were not able to sign up for this pre-con session, full day pre-con, then I'm going to do a brief version of that, if you will. And I'm also looking forward to this one, top Power BI rookie mistakes to avoid. Actually, maybe that would have been a great place to start, because if you have seen my latest video on YouTube, and I was hesitating putting it out there because I realized that it can be somewhat controversial, but
the biggest
So this one talks about the biggest Power BI mistake, and guys, I really think that I see a lot of people treating it like PowerPoint. They treat this as a canvas and like putting all the visuals there, and there's so much focus on visuals, and that's okay. That's a-okay. Visualization is certainly a rich field with a lot of art and science behind it. I myself am a Stephen Few disciple, and there's a lot of good stuff there. But of course, if that's the only thing you're focusing on, and if you're focusing on that at the cost of focusing on the model, you're not doing things right. So that's what I put out, and I think this is a good segue because, of course, it is one of the key mistakes that people make. So I think it fits into this session that I will be presenting, and also that's what we're doing. Me and Matt are doing. So that's pretty cool. All right, cool. Let's see who's on the phone from my Learn Power BI family. We have Grant, Heather, and Tamir. Hello and welcome. And who do we have on YouTube? I said hi to Christian, Ankush, Monica from New Jersey. Sonali says hi. Rewire, hello from St. Paul, Minnesota. We got a Minnesotan crowd here today. And of course, I love that place. My sister lives there. I visited them in summer and in winter. It's good. It's good no matter what. All right. Yeah. And Mr. Reddy, Pawan Kumar Reddy says hi from India. Gosh, thank you for joining from India. It's really late over there, by the way, guys. It's like 12:36 a.m. in the night. So glad you're here. So Steph is here. So is Rick, Wen, Dinteran. I feel like I've seen you before. Just let me know where you're joining in from. And Reddy has a question. Hey guys, that's what I'm here for. That's what this is all about. And I was talking to somebody, and frankly, to talk Power BI, I've been running this for so long, and I'm still unsure about the format, because the challenge becomes that it all depends. The quality of this call, this live show, is based on the quality of the questions you ask, and there are no bad questions, by the way. So frankly, just give me your questions. But sometimes things go quiet, and I'm like, oh gosh. So I was thinking, maybe should I have a guest over so that I have somebody to talk to? I do have my students, so maybe you can talk there. So Pawan has a question. So Steph Dex is here. Hello, my friend. Hello from Vermont, says Anthony. Rick is from Netherlands. Awesome. That's great. So let's start off. Let's kick it off with Pawan's question. So guys, by the way, yeah. So if you're a student, you can join and be on the phone. Hopefully, I will be able to talk to some of the folks on the phone. But wow, May 4th, June 22nd. Clearly, I've been away. But let's get into it. So 2018. Talk Power BI, and let's start with, so what is the timestamp? So I'm going to put the timestamp here. That way you can come back and refer to it as something. So what is it? 3? Okay. And Bhavan, I'm just going to abbreviate your name if that's okay with you. How to split rows. Tell me more about that. If you can give an example or something, send me a screenshot. That would help. I'm not really sure. I mean, a row, yeah, I mean, we all know how to split a column. That's easy. Let me actually bring up, would it be a good idea for me to pre-launch Power BI, wouldn't it? But we can do that now. Okay, while that's going on, Steph has a question. I'm just going to paste it here. Oh, oops. Oh, it is so Steph. Okay, I like that. How can I custom sort on dates that I've categorized as text because they are continuous? Okay. Oh boy, now questions are pouring in. I also have in the chat. Let's see who asked that. Tamir had a question. I'll line them up, and we will see. This is good, guys. So what I'm going to do is, actually, how can I, I'm trying to see, how can I increase the size of the chat window? Okay, there we go. Tamir has sent me an email. Awesome. Oh, gosh, Tamir, you're going easy on me. I saw the question you asked in the student group the other day. You know about matching the totals? And I saw it, and boy, I'm like, you know, that's a tough one. So I'm glad you're not asking that one. So we'll look at that. So let's see. I think we're waiting. Let's see if we have a response from Pawan. If so, I didn't see a response. So Pawan, I need more information here. If you look at Power BI, oh, actually, I don't know. Maybe, you know, so since I'm not hearing that from you, let me just go on a limb here and make an assumption. So guys, if you're here, and you can obviously split a column, right? So you can say right-click a column and what? It used to be an option here, right? I swear it was an option. What's going on here? Sometimes things happen. Things like, oh, of course, I'm not in the query editor. Duh. Not the first time I've done that. So so right now this is the model, right? This is the model just showing me the data view, and the query editor is my kitchen, by the way. That's where I do all the cooking, which is I clean, shape, and transform my data. So the model gets this shape, which is going to come up, right? So and then I design this on paper or a whiteboard, and then I bring this to life in the query editor. I create this exact shape, and that happens in the query editor. So now I'm in the query editor, and if I look at the, let's say the product table, something really simple, I can, I can right click and say split column by this. And the other scenario is that I'll talk about before I line up to what I think Pawan is asking is, imagine if your sales data is coming from multiple sources. How do you combine them? Well, that's easy. You can append queries right here, right? So if it's coming from two sources, you can append them together. If it's like in a folder, I love that. So you can just point to a folder and say, go to this folder and pick up all the files. So that way, if you keep new files keep coming in, keep being dropped in the folder, it's going to pick all of them up. And of course, you can get sophisticated, like last 10 files, blah, 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 all of that. So that is pretty cool. But, and again, yeah, I still haven't heard back from Pawan. But what about, imagine if we had a set of data and we wanted to separate into multiple pieces. So, fair enough. So again, I'm making some assumptions. So let's say we wanted to separate it by territory. Yeah, I mean, you could say reference twice. So I'm right clicking and I'm saying kind of reference. And in here, you can say sales something. I don't know. Territory 1, and then you can say filter this down to territory 1 only. And this one can be territory 2. Yeah. And here you can say, oh well, wow, I guess, is there territory 2? Oh, there it is, great. So this way, I kind of carved out rows into different pieces. Now, I would like to know more, like what is the scenario of why you're doing this, because this is not typical. This is, yeah, this is not what I find myself doing typically. So hope that helped. Let's see. Let's switch to Tamir and Steph. We're gonna come back to you. Actually, that might be a simple thing. So let's try that. 001330. Got it. So to sort dates, now you gotta have my ultimate calendar table. Let me hunt for that right now. Camtasia, and we'll say, yeah, I'm a bit of a back rat when it comes to my folder, so just give me 1 second. But it's actually easier for you guys to find it. So if you're in my course, then that's in the advanced library, where you can also grab it from my channel. If you go to my channel, there's a whole playlist on calendar table, and as part of that, it also has the download. So I'm just going to click on this really quick. What? So yeah, the second one talks about the download. You should really watch at least the first 2 videos. Okay, cool. So I have, and I'm going to say edit queries, and this has my ultimate calendar. And my favorite thing about this calendar is that it's sourced, manufactured, if you will, in Power BI itself. Here we have some new folks joining in. Denise and Eric, hello. We're just kind of going through the questions, and right now we're talking with Steph, love that, about sorting the dates. So let's actually try it out. And so let's say, now first of all, date, this one is the format as date, but what if we had like a funky format, like a text date? How would we do that first of all? Date as text or something like that. Let's try. And again, guys, so I talk about the 80-20 rule of learning. So my course, hey, just to finish that thought on calendar table, if you're in my course, the advanced library has all the other goodies and the calendar table, and it's got a lot more videos than I have on YouTube. But I talk about the course being the 80-20. So this one gives you that 20%, if I can write that gives you 80% of the results. But after that, for the rest of the stuff, you can always Google. I Google all the time. I would be on a paid consulting call, and I'll say, "Oh, guys, let me Google this." And I'm sharing my screen, so I mean, they know what I'm doing. So let's say Power Query text format. I'm looking for something which is like text from text format. Isn't there? How do I format it as a date? Text format as date. Date to text. How about that? Ooh, I like this one. Okay, let's try this. So over here, we're gonna say add, and I could have tried calling from examples. That's pretty cool. I guess I don't try this often enough. Let's just do custom column. And I'm just going to paste the whole thing. And instead of this, let's see. Huh, weird. I was trying to monitor it on my phone. No luck. Here we will use our column. Okay, cool. So we will have text date, and here, shoot, I don't know what is the weekday. Maybe DDD. Let's try. We'll see. No, that didn't work. I'm sure there's some code. Does anybody know on the phone? Like, how would I get a weekday? Like, I want Monday, Friday, something like that. Let's try that. Oh, that's not bad. Look at that.
Is it Avi, is it lowercase DDD for the dates?
Bingo. What can I say? Yeah, that's what I tried and it worked. Great. So now we have this. Now, of course, the thing is, I didn't give it a good name. So I'll say date label or date text, something like that, whatever you want to call it. And now, of course, the challenge is if we load this in a model, it's not going to sort correctly. Okay, come on. But of course, we can. Let's do a new sheet here. And we're going to say calendar. And let's put date label on there. Oh, is it doing a table? Yeah. And yeah, it's not sorting chronologically. I'm so proud I know that word. So how do we sort it? Well, what if we say date label and we say sort by, and can we just point to the date value? I usually use a number, but this might work too. Yes, that worked, right? Yeah, it worked. So Steph, or Steph, I don't know what you prefer. What do you think? So sort by column. By the way, sort by column is really cool and really powerful. Now, of course, the typical places where we use that is to sort kind of the month names, right? So it's April. Oh, this one isn't even sorted right. So month should be, or is it? Month should be sorted by month num. So now it's like January through December. And of course, but this is gives you ultimate control. I mean, you can have a fiscal calendar which does not start in January. Does anybody have that? Fiscal month, and you can. So if you have a fiscal calendar, you're gonna have your own sorting by fiscal month num. And this is the Microsoft calendar that we used, and it started in July. And July was the first month, and June was the last month, so forth. So, and not just this, you can use sort by column for other stuff, where you can have a I don't know if I have that example here, but you can have a slicer for your customer names with the top customers who have the biggest sales at the top. So imagine if I have a slicer here for my customer names. Do I have a full name? Yes. And slicer is alphabetical. And sure, there's search and all that stuff you can do. But what if I want to say, you know what, there are too many customers. I just want to focus on the top ones. And I want to see that in the slicer. So you can also control that. You can have a field which shows you the customer name, but always shows you the first one on top will be your biggest customer. So lots of uses for sort by column. Cool. So Steph, hopefully that helped. Let me know if you did. A couple of other comments coming in. I'm just gonna copy this whole thing and stick this in Notepad, and we will switch to some questions on the phone. And thank you guys for being patient. I mean, sometimes it's like, oh gosh, just get to my question really quick. Oops. Okay. Can I sort it in a slicer? Yes, you can sort it in a slicer. So yeah, I just want to make sure that. Yeah, you can. Slicer sorting is no different than regular sorting. So if you can sort it in, like if you go here, and you saw how we fixed the sorting of that column in here. Earlier it was broken, and then we changed it. So of course, if you bring that date label as a slicer, it's going to sort the exact same way, right? So whatever sorting you enforce using the sort by column. Where did that go? Date label, yeah, sort by column. It's going to follow that in the slicer too. Same way, fiscal month, I showed that to you. If you bring in fiscal month in the slicer, it's going to have that sort order. So yeah, sort by column is really powerful. It's really cool. I mean, if you want to and guys, I mean, this is like, so for one, as you are working through this stuff, sometimes you run into some fun stuff sorting, not of a month and so forth, but customers. So there's a good fun there. But we were doing this. Oh guys, this was so fun. So sales table. And guys, Power BI is a journey. We're all learning. I'm still learning, but you gotta enjoy the journey. If you get frustrated, that's no fun. So check this out, Check this out. So in here right now it's sorted alphabetically, but let's sort it by. So what we wanted to do, imagine we had a lot more countries. Imagine we had 20 countries, right? 20 countries, or 30, 20, 15, doesn't matter, something like that, right? And we wanted to show a column chart, and we always wanted to show United States, Canada, and UK first, no matter what. Right? I mean, doesn't matter if the sales were down, right? So we're not doing this. We're not saying show me with the biggest sales numbers or something. We're not doing that. We're saying, you know what? United States, Canada, United Kingdom, they're always at the front, 1, 2, 3, no matter, even if their sales were lower. And then sort the rest alphabetically. What? Man, I mean, that was like fun stuff. And of course, first time you're like, what? But then you get to solve it, and it's a lot of fun. Cool. So sorting, lots of fun to be had there. So hopefully, step that helped. So Tamir, I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a deep dive. So hopefully you're ready, and we're going to do this. So Tamir, and we'll do this. And Tamir, you have sent me an email, so I'm gonna go to that. Yeah, Heather was commenting earlier that the query editor and the data model should look a little different. Like this data view and this view. Yeah, I mean, you know, you figure it out eventually, but yeah, that would be nice. Okay, so let's see. So, Tamir, is it something you posted in the Facebook group as well? Just curious.
I didn't post it in the Facebook. I posted earlier today in the Power BI forums.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. And did you get a response there?
No, I didn't get any response.
Okay. How to show one stacked bar.
Maybe it was not clear the question. Can you understand from the file I sent you?
Yeah, I'm trying really hard to open Outlook. It's slow. Hey, would it help if I make you presenter? Maybe you can show it on your screen. What do you think?
Okay.
All right. And yeah, so why don't you walk me through the problem? So guys, Tamir is one of the students in our Learn Power BI family. And okay, cool. Yeah, so how to show one stacked bar with the correct legend when selecting the appropriate. So yeah, so walk me through. Show me what's going on.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I'm looking at the 2015, 16, 17, 18, and boy, this is oh my gosh, a bonus point for somebody who can tell me what does Stephen Few call it, or what is this thing called? Multiple. Hey, there's a fancy name for it. So when you're trying to show the same visual but across different things, go ahead, Tamir.
Okay, so basically, I have one chart that shows performance scores. Well, it shows actually. Let's focus on this.
Yeah.
On the x-axis, I have companies.
Yeah.
And I would like to know the measure is the count of people from that companies, how many people I have in company.
Got it.
But I want to see them by performance. Okay, so I have 4 levels of performance.
Performance. So when you say by performance, you mean sorting by performance?
No, in the legend, the colors. You see, so for example, if I look at 2015,
okay,
if I will go to the table, so I see the companies. Each row represents an employee.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, let's back up a little bit. Show me your relationship view really quick. And I know, like, you dummied up this data for me, but still, that would. So by the way, guys, so I know this one, like, and Tamir, he's always amazing this way. He always sets up these kind of files that we can use, which is great. But normally, when I'm working with a client or a student, even often the first thing I ask for is to give me the relationship view. So got it. So you got the performance here, and then you have the performance rating. Okay, carry on. So take me back to whatever you're showing me.
Okay, so this is the table. I have each row represents an employee.
Yeah.
And through the years, he had performance review.
Yeah.
And I would like to show a count.
Yes.
For how many employees I have in each company.
Wait. But I didn't see number of employees in your data at all. It had something like performance rating. So wait, is it just a count of performance rating? Is that the number of employees?
Yeah, it's just a count. I forgot to put, because I took it from an actual table.
Yeah.
And I just forgot to put another column for employee name.
No worries. But yeah, we're just going to do a count, and that's it. Cool.
Yeah, just a count. Right.
Okay.
So the measure actually is a count. Name of agency. Here, value is just a count.
Value is a count.
Of the column. I didn't put a measure here.
Got it.
And the legend is the performance. Now, at the moment, I had to divide it.
Color it by performance. Ooh. Wait, what does that mean though? So actually, a lot of times when I'm debugging things, can you show this to me in a table? Give me a table. Let's do actually. Let me see if I can request control.
you have control.
Oh gosh, sweet. This is so cool. So let's. I'm gonna carry this one. And by the
So
way,
just to make clear, Avi, just to make clear, I would like to have one visual,
uh-huh.
and not four visuals for each year. Just one visual that can every time will pick up into the legend the right column of
Yeah.
performance.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Yeah, go slow on me. I'm trying to hold on. So guys, if if you need an example of, you don't need to be special um, to do a lot of good in this world. You would find that I'm not like yeah. I mean, I use a very slow and methodical approach. Yeah, bear with me here. And guys, I'll also say that, yeah, looking at often when people are debugging a graph, the first thing that I do is change that to a table, because if you can solve it in a table, sometimes a visual problem. So you're saying you don't want four graphs, huh? You want
No,
a
I want
single visual.
one
Yeah, I'm
exactly.
because I got excited with your four visuals. I'm trying to. Oh, I found it. So what you have here, Stephen Few calls it small multiples. Has anybody heard that? Has anybody tried to do it? And this one falls short of Stephen Few's example of small multiples. And bonus points for somebody who can tell me why this falls short. So Stephen Few, guys, he's pretty awesome. Okay, so we have count of let's actually do measures. So I love measures because they give me a little more control. So I'll just say count of name of agency, right? So we'll just say employee count equals count of name of agency. I've never done
Count of
that.
name agency.
Yeah,
I just forgot to put another column for employee name. But count of
yeah.
agency, name of agency.
Okay. All right, and I'll also say that I'm not sure this is your dummy data, but this one feels like it's begging to be unpivoted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because data is
I
spread
did
across.
it. I tried to do unpivot. I did unpivot.
Yeah.
But what happens, it creates for me other difficulties that I didn't manage to work with it.
Got it. So we'll leave that there. But yeah, I mean, generally, so of course your real data set would have other stuff in there which can create other complexity, other rules in there. But of course, if this is all we had, then that'll probably be the first thing that I do. Unpivot makes things much easier. So we have I did define the measure, so I'm just gonna put it here and make sure it works the same. Employee count 1 3. Yep, so looks good. So I'm gonna remove
and
that.
I'd be happy also to see how you would do it with the pivot with the unpivoting.
Yeah.
Because I tried, it didn't work out for me.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we can try that. And performance rating. So you have company 1 has this 1 employee count with a 4 rating. I'm just gonna check really quick. So company. Wait, that didn't. Why? Let's try this. So what about performance? Yeah, company 1 has 4. Yeah, I feel more comfortable with visuals. But anyway, so we got an employee count, and performance rating is just a sum, right? That's what you're doing. Oh wait, you're saying the. What would be the? Yeah, I'm a little confused here. So let's go back to your graph. So you have company.
This is the 2018. They had no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take another year. Take 2016, for example. Yeah.
And here you have counted performance rating. Oh, by legend. So, Oh, okay, got it. So you're saying for each company, how many people had a performance rating of 1, 2, 3, 4?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Fair enough. So performance rating is almost a label, not you're not doing math with it. Makes
No, just
sense.
label.
Yeah. So okay, now it's making a little more sense to me. So if we do this, and why am I not seeing more data? So company one, performance rating 4 is just 1. Let's try it. So company 1. Oh, by the way, you should upgrade to the latest desktop, Power BI desktop, when you get a chance. And of course, if you can, it's best if you do have that option. If you install it from the Windows Store, then it automatically updates. That's what I've done. But it depends. And because in the new version you can like filter it here, which is pretty cool. But company 1.4 is 1, pretty cool. Okay, so I think I understand the data now. So tell me about the graphs now. Sorry. Okay, it took me some time. Go ahead.
So it's just a bar chart.
Mm-hmm.
That basically, when I will click on the filter on the side, on the slicer,
yeah,
I will still have the companies, of course, but the only thing that will change will be the legend here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the legends to show the
got it. Different for different year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. So let's do a few things here. So again, I have no idea where this is gonna go, but I'm just gonna. It's possibly gonna see me crash and burn, but we'll see. And I'll. So sometimes, guys, I'll admit I'm afraid of speaking out loud because sometimes I end up in a dead end, right? In a dead alley, and then it's really embarrassing, and then I have to say forget everything I said. But I'm gonna do that right now at least, and that way you're gonna see how I think. And even if I fail, hopefully that's helpful. So to me, it feels like that we definitely need that unpivot. So I'm feeling like my initial gut instinct is worth pursuing at least. So we're gonna do that. So let's look at performance here. Perfect. So we got here, and I'm just gonna say unpivot other columns. Unpivot other columns, and let's see how that works. Performance rating 2015. Okay, good. And the way I see it, that this is actually a date. I mean, it's at a year level, but it's signifying a date period, if you would, right? So sometimes we have data which is at monthly level. I still think of that as date. So if it says January 2018, for me that's a date. And typically my rule is if you have a date in your model anywhere, a single date, you have to have a calendar table. So we might, that's kind of the rule. I think for now we can kind of get away with that. But so this one is actually not, so this label is not performance rating in my mind. This is the year. And what I'm going to do is transform, and I'll say replace values and rating space and replace with null. So now I have an year, and this is performance rating in my mind. Rating.
Okay, that's right.
Okay, so for a given company, given year performance rating, and just to keep things straight, I will add like, what is your source for this one? Ah, cool. So I will add a name. And actually, John, Jane, Doe, Mary.
Can I add an issue, Avi?
Oh shoot! Yeah, something like that.
In the original table, there is also a cost for each line, for each employee.
Yeah.
And so when I do the unpivot,
yeah,
it expands. It expands more.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
More duplications of the costs.
Yeah, that is a challenge, and I'm running out of names now. And of course, some names would repeat here, but
no names would repeat actually here.
But
these are unique names.
Oh, yeah, got it. But in our final table, they'll repeat because we've unpivoted.
Yes, exactly.
Now it didn't work. So this is pretty good. I kind of recreated the challenge that we had earlier. So unpivoted other columns, name of agency. I need to keep employee as well. So unpivot other columns. And guys, if you haven't already, always turn on the formula bar. And that's how I learned M. I turned on the formula bar, and you look at it enough times, and it kind of starts to make sense. You don't care about the syntax, but intuitively it's like, yeah, I know what it's doing. So here it's saying unpivot other column, name of agency, and now I can go in, and then this is the next step that I took, that I would tinker in the M formula. And of course, sometimes it would break, but this time, I managed to do it right. So let's see. Okay, cool. So this is a good next step. Now let's go back and see how things are looking, and that's okay. Oh, actually, I did need to. Do I need that lookup table? Let's use the lookup table. So this one. So this will, I'll just say calendar. And here's source. We'll just say. Can I type over it? So the lookup tables are your who, what, where, when, how, and they're pretty durable entities, right? So imagine if you have the who is customer, the what is the product, and then you can have, and your data tables are your business processes. So here we're managing performance scores, but we might have something else which manages their attendance. We might have another table which manages the the required training that they do, all sorts of stuff. So obviously depending on where you are, what your business is. So those would be the data tables, but the lookup tables are durable. Like calendar, usually not going to have multiple calendars. There's an edge case for that, and you're not going to have multiple product tables. So if any of your data table has the who, what, where, when, how, you will just connect to that. In this case, I have to change one other thing. I have to change its name to just year. And right now it's a little overkill because we don't have like the full data set, but let's see how this works. So we got calendar year, and let's go over here. I'm just going to ignore that for now. And if you go fields, okay, got it. So now, first thing I'm going to do is bring on a slicer here. Let's see how that works. Slicer, size. Oh, no, not that. Okay, so, and now if we say, I'm just going to do a table. Yeah, and we'll do a graph as well. So I want to see by, whoa, what happened to my company name? Oh, name of agency, okay. So I want to see by name of agency. Maybe a graph would have been okay here. Okay, let's also do a graph and we'll see how that goes. So I want to see a stacked column chart, and here the legend is the performance rating, and employee count. And I'm just gonna do the same thing here. Oh man, this is so cool. I have a feeling for this. Performance rating by company. So ignore the table. Actually, I'm not having much fun with the table. But if you look at this one, oh, oops, I wanted to do this guy. I don't know what. So now if we say 2015, in company 1, 2, you can see how many are 3, how many are 4. is this closer to what you were looking for?
Yes, but let's see if it actually gives us the right numbers.
Absolutely. Let's see. And what's in, so now let's bring back the table and let's add label on here. Data labels. Oh gosh, of course they're tiny.
Because my problem with creating this as a date for year, because I have in the real project, I have actually a year slicer for other visuals that is connected to a date, to an actual date of an employee.
Well,
so if I use this,
yeah.
that's
So the way you use that is so for a second, let's pretend that this is not about dates. All right. So so just hang on with me for 1 second. So I was talking about this actually on the Q&A call yesterday, where we carry a lot of baggage around dates. We have, So for a second, imagine if this was about products, and this wasn't date. This was a product key, and we had a product lookup table here, right? How would you connect different things which had product keys? Well, you would just connect all of them to the same table and then use the columns from that product table. Does that make sense? So you would do the same thing for your calendar. There should be just one calendar table, and it'll have all the dates. So calendar table, the rules for calendar, and again, you can go grab the ultimate calendar table. The rules for the calendar table are the dates need to be contiguous, right? So you can't skip dates. It has to be at date level. And the date span should cover all of your data. So if you have, usually what I do is if I have 2 years worth of data, let's say 2017, 2018, I make my date table a little bit bigger. Let's say I will say 2017, 2020, or something like that. And then, of course, it's going to have all of the other attributes like weekday, month, quarter, year. And then you use that common table to slice and dice performance scores. You use that to slice and dice any other data set. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but why? What would be the difference if I would just leave it not as a date calendar, but just as a name of the review year, not just a year as a date,
then
as a name.
So imagine you'd leave it name as review year. Fair enough, right? And then you bring in performance score. You also bring in their how many courses they've done, right? And then you bring in their attendance information, and you bring in some other stuff. Frankly, it doesn't even matter. It's going to be awkward to connect it to that table which says review year, right? So frankly, this table is a who, what, where, when, how. It represents an entity. It represents that date. The review year is at this level. If you had a you should have a common calendar table. Again, if you swap out, think about product. So let's say you had a product table, right? And it said product key, product name, product category, right? With me? And then you had a shipping table and an inventory table and an invoicing table. Would you come back to your product table and have columns named differently? Like the shipped product name, invoiced product name, warehouse product name. You would never do that. That almost sounds silly. No, I mean, my shipping table has my shipping information, warehouse is warehouse, inventory is inventory, but product is just product. So if you wouldn't do that for product, why would you do it for calendar? Just hold on to it. Okay. You don't have to answer right now. Just think about that. Right? So we always start treating calendar very special. It is special in some sense because it helps you with time intelligence and all this sort of stuff. But in some ways, you got to treat it just like other lookup tables. Product, who, what, where, when, how. All right, let's come back here and let's verify it. So let's see if we can, I don't know if a matrix would be better. Certainly the size doesn't help. Okay, I'm not even sure what we're looking at here. So we have name of agency. Wait. So for 2000, what are we looking at here?
You have to put the legend, the performance, so we see for each company how is it breaking down by performance?
Yeah, that is in columns.
Yeah. Ah,
Oh, it's blank for this year. That's better. So
okay.
company 1 had one guy with a rating of 2 in 2017. Let's go back here. Oh shoot. Let's go back to a credit. Company yeah, so if you go back to source, company 1 had 2017 have one guy with a rating of 2. Yeah, I'll let you kind of validate other stuff, but it seems on first kind of glance that it looks right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks, Adi.
All right, cool.
I will validate.
All right, awesome. And yeah, that's great.
Quick save.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna get back presenter from you. So guys, that was good. I'm glad I didn't end up in a dark alley somewhere. Sometimes it happens with Power BI, and that's okay. You just backtrack and start again. So let's see what other questions I have. Okay, Steph is saying he's a Tableau person, and now we're switching to Power BI. That's great. If you have seen, frankly, I've been doing some videos which really have pushed me in the sense, well, it scared me a little bit. But I have been talking about this. So of course, this one is controversial, but I feel like I had to talk about this because I see that happening quite a bit, where people are just focusing on it as a visual tool, as PowerPoint almost. But then I have been talking about, I have talked about Power BI and Tableau earlier, and here I'm really seeing that in modern corporations, these tools would coexist. And frankly, once I stepped out of Microsoft, I'm seeing. So of course, in Microsoft, we use our own technology pretty much, right? It's very unusual to use something else. Although under Satya's regime, that's happened more and more. They started using GitHub, and they acquired GitHub recently. But of course, for a while, it was just another company out there. But they were using GitHub pretty heavily. So that's starting to change a little bit, and that's good, because when I stepped out of Microsoft, I realized that I had this blinder on, like Microsoft or nothing kind of thing, and the real world is not like that. People use a mix of technologies from these different vendors, and what modern companies need to do to succeed, it helps them, first of all. Obviously, it helps the customer, is that make sure they work together. So we have these different players, Microsoft, Tableau, blah, blah, but I really feel that Power BI and Tableau should work together, and it's going to be so I talk about that in the video, it's going to be a win-win-win. It's going to be certainly a win for the customer. It's going to be happy, like, oh, great. I mean, maybe I have 100 Office 365 licenses with Power BI, but I have these 3 analysts use Tableau. What about them? And we have them work together. It just works better that way. What else? And it's a win for Microsoft and Tableau as well, because they position themselves better. That, hey, we're a good citizen, and I think that's important in today's world. So I'll chalk that in really quickly, if that's okay, and we'll take some other questions. 56 Power BI versus Tableau, and we talked about that. So that was actually a little bit earlier. So I'm gonna just say 52. Okay, cool. So let's take one from Facebook. I'm going to read through some of your other comments. How to put measures in rows? Oh, in a matrix. Yes. I think that's a requested feature, if I'm right. So let's take that really quick. 54. This should be a quick one. How to, and that's wow page. I like your I don't know what it's called, like YouTube names. How to put measures in rows. Measures in rows. And I'm assuming the person is talking about in matrix. Oops. So if you go, oh, I don't have to use this example. That's where I was using a matrix, but we can build something here really quick. Let's try. So if we change this to a matrix, what happens here? So yeah, so notice here how, oh dang it. it would be nice if maximizing whatever it's called. What is it called? Pop out, focus mode. It also made it bigger. Realize that you have more space. Is it working? Oh shoot. Wrong one. Okay. So notice how the measures here are across columns. So there is, and hey, I'm handing away a lot of bonus points, guys. So if you can post a link to the idea on Power BI site, so ideas, not that, ideas.powerbi.com. Actually, let me just do a quick search. So measures on rows matrix. Let's see. Oh shoot, seriously? Oh, I was gonna say seriously 9 votes, but then there's this guy, 1,386. Oh, completed? I don't know. What? Help me out, guys. What's going on? How do you do? Oh, I think it's in a setting somewhere. Is it rows? Let's try that. Rows. Show on rows. Are you ready for this? Oh my god! Guys, look at this. And this came out in August 2017. So, wow page. Let me know. Let me know if that's what you were looking for. Okay, I'm just going to scan through comments really quick. So is the performance the count of reviews for each row? Okay, so Loomis was asking a question about the meters data. Godson, hello my friend from Dallas, Texas. Let's go to our phone, to our Learn Power BI family, and see is there any question, comment, thought on phone. So Denise, Eric, Heather, the meter's still on, and Tom is on. Guys, do you have a question for me? Okay. All right. Feel free to ask me, pipe up anytime if you're on the phone. That's the whole advantage. Just speak up. That's the easiest thing. All right. Eric says all good. So let's go to some of your questions. So, okay. So this one is easy. So guys, sometimes I have lived in this awesome world now for so long that it takes somebody, one of my new students or my follower, to remind me of how things were. And yeah, I mean, I have started to take some of the modern things for granted. So something like this: how do you create reports with 3 different data sources? Well, you connect to those 3 different data sources, and not just 3, you can connect to 30 if you need to. And yeah, you can just go get data, and Power BI, I'm told, on good authority by James Phillips, and I said that in the Data Insight Summit or the Power BI Summit last year. Power BI has the longest list of connectors out of all the tools out there, and they keep adding new stuff at a crazy pace. So that's pretty phenomenal. So yeah, so let's see what the list is. Excel, database, online applications, done, and done, my friend. Right. So yeah, I mean, you can let's see if is this connected to multiple sources. I'm going to check really quick. Again, this is a sample file, so it may not be. So notice here it's connected to, let's pretend, a database. This could have been SQL easily. Access database in this case, Excel file. And yeah, I can connect more. I can say get data, SQL, and just bring that in. So in this case, let's just walk through just a little bit. And I'm going to say, okay, connect. By the way, thank you guys for joining. You know, this wouldn't be possible without you. So if you're on the phone with me or following me on YouTube, thank you so much. Love you guys. Great. So yeah, so you can just go in here and connect to it, and you can bring in more and more and more. Although what I would recommend is, and that's the whole thing that I'm talking about in all of my videos, guys. So let's go back over here to my channel. So in my new video where I talk about don't use it like PowerPoint, don't use it as if you're building reports. I know it looks like that. It looks like a reporting tool, and yes, it can do that, but it's really a modeling tool, and it has to start there. And if you watch my videos, I talk about, so if you are connected with multiple data sources, it becomes even more important that you have like a clean shape. And sorry, so I messed up my model a little bit. What up? Yes. Yeah, kids are off these days, summer vacation, so. Right, so and I'll it's all on my YouTube channel, and of course more inside my Learn Power BI course. But I talk about this here. It's a bit of a rant, I guess, but guys, it's it's important, and some people are not going to be ready for this message. That's okay. If you hate it, if you don't agree with it, watch the video and let me know. Put a comment there. But I believe it's very important. So if you do believe in that it's about the building the model, then the best resources are my Power BI tutorial for beginners and these webinars that I've done with Microsoft BI team, data modeling. And so this thing actually doesn't even start on Power BI. It should start on a whiteboard where you should draw things out, and you should say, what are the business processes that I'm monitoring? And those would be your data table. You would plot that out, and then you say, okay, what is the who, what, where, when, how? So example, if you have sales here, right, then you're going to have the who, the what, the where, the when, the how, and that could be who, could be the customer who bought it, what could be the product, where could be the location of the store, when would be your calendar table, how could be like a discount or something. And that's how you build it. You build it on the whiteboard, and then you bring it to life. And no matter where your data, so it's possible sales is coming from 3 different places, your product table is in Excel, this is in Access, this is in SQL. Who cares? I don't care about that. I first build it on whiteboard, and then I have all my kitchen is my query editor. So that's where I do the Frankenstein thing and bring that whatever I drew in my whiteboard to life. I never use the Frankenstein analogy. I don't know if it works. Okay, cool. So so you can connect to all of that. Hopefully that helped. Let's see. Are there any questions here that I missed? And guys, if I really missed something, just post again. Okay, so there is a question from Pavan. I want to glance at the videos. It does not have other videos to create step-by-step calendar dates. I don't know. It's like Actually, I'm not going to answer that. So I'm not sure what Balu's comment is about using bookmarks. Bookmarks are okay. Just don't use them as a substitute for lack of building a good model, being able to define measures. If you want to go that route, go ahead, my friend, right? I can only advise you. But if you find yourself kind of that things keep getting harder and harder, like, oh my gosh, that's not the way. You missed a turn somewhere. This is supposed to be easy. If it's not really making things easy, if it's getting more and more complicated, so that's what you would find. If you keep staying in the visual layer, like, oh, I'll use bookmark, and this filters that, and this does this, you're going to twist yourself in loops. How can a dashboard created in Power BI free desktop version can be viewable by other users? You can be shared the link, blah, blah. Okay, good one. Okay, so I think I answered this one. I'm going to glance at the YouTube really quick. Okay, there's one comment from Rick, which I'll put on here. Okay, and guys, okay, so let's see, what do we pick from here? Which one do we want to talk about? Yeah, this one is tricky. I'll get back to that. Let's try this one, and we will say 01, 04, 00. How to share Power BI file reports with other users. All right, Bowen, my friends. So he's saying, how can a dashboard created in Power BI free desktop version can be viewable by other users? Can we share the link to users just like Tableau Public? A short answer is yes. If so, how? The person and the person you're sharing with doesn't have a license. So let's pick it up from there. Tableau Public. So Tableau Public, Tableau Public is kind of crazy. It not only exposes your report, it exposes your data as well. So, I mean, they do call it Tableau Public. So, so what you can do is, you can come in here, and you can publish it to online. Let's see if I can have my Power BI logged in here. And so, I will say that I have some thoughts, feelings about the licensing. Could be different, used to be different, blah blah. But let's put that away for now. I'll just talk about how it is set up right now. So PowerBI.com, I always call it .com. People service, not blah, whatever. So PowerBI.com is free for personal use. So as long as you publish it and you're the only one kind of consuming it, it's free. But if you start sharing it with other people, it's paid. But if you want to share it publicly, that is free, unless that's changed. If I misspoke, somebody correct me. Like, no, they changed it. So you can come in. Let's find a nice dashboard, and so you build a dashboard on PowerBI.com. And oh wait, no, actually you publish a report. So I take that back. So guys, here's the thing. There's a dashboard and a report. These words existed before Power BI. Would you say that's true? Now, of course, that's true, right? So dashboard and report have a meaning in general society. Now, if you go by the general meaning, I would call this a dashboard. And if you read Stephen Few's definition, I think this would qualify. Like dashboard, what he talks about is it tries to put all the information on one page, which is what it does, right? So it would be conventional sense. But then there are dashboard and reports as defined by Power BI. And there, it's a totally different story. So when I'm talking about this stuff, I say Power BI dashboard, Power BI report. So what you build in Power BI desktop, the authoring tool, this is the modeling tool that I was talking about, it lets you build reports as well. And the key way to tell that is by these tabs. When you see tabs, you're looking at a report. Fair enough? So that is a Power BI report. But then Power BI also has this concept of a Power BI dashboard where you can pin different elements. Okay, coming back to this and to your question, Pawan, you can come to a report and say File, Publish to Web. And that's going to be publicly available. So go ahead and try that. And that, it's just kind of online. And then you can share that link with anybody you want. You can embed it in your website if you like. You can they can find it through Google if they know what they're searching for, kind of thing. Wink wink. I mean, it's not easy to find, but it's not impossible to find either. So I will caution, a lot of people use this Publish to Web to share reports so that they can sidestep licensing, but they're sharing a lot of sensitive finance data. Guys, that information is really out there. So use it at your own risk. Just be aware of what's involved. Now I do have a sneaky trick to publish to web, but still not have everybody be able to see it. But I'll talk to you in my class if you're in there. So that is the closest equivalent to Tableau Public. If you don't have those options, then you can share the desktop file. Then they would have to have the Power BI desktop installed. Otherwise, they would have to have a license if you share with them. And if you go back to our channel, did you know there's a search box here which lets you search just in this channel? I don't know that, till recently. So you can, let's try searching for license. And I think I have a few videos on here. Cool. So this one is actually an older video. Notice it says updated video here, and that actually points to this guy. So that one is a good video to follow to understand the licensing scheme, if you will. All right, Pawan, so hopefully that helped. I'll check in on the phone really quick. Guys, if you have any questions, just speak up. and I'll scan the comments and stuff. Okay, cool. I think we're looking good here. All right. Let's. Oh well, we just took one of Pawan's questions. Although the calendar one is interesting too. I don't think this one is a question, by the way. I think you were commenting to somebody else, perhaps. So let's go to Rick's question statement. And we are already more than 1 hour into this stuff. This is awesome. So guys, we almost meet on a weekly basis with our class, and we had a meeting yesterday. And if that's okay, I'll share that file really quick. So what we do is I have a similar file to this, but this one tracks stock Power BI. But there, of course, where is it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's yeah, we have, and I love doing that, and I really enjoy it. So I'll show you the real Power BI file as well, so you can see all the different calls and different questions we ask. We're starting to do another thing where we ask for like wins that they had, and people have been reporting such phenomenal stuff. Barry gave us a treat on, he had a dashboard on electric vehicles, which oh gosh, let me go to his update. It is being used by the Sierra Club to support the green initiative. So pretty phenomenal stuff. And then of course we had the real Power BI project as well, where we have Kimberly, a real business person. She's been joining for the past 4 weeks, and we have gone like week by week figuring out what the plan is, just working together on it almost as a team. And define our phases, our goals and milestones and all this stuff, and that's been pretty phenomenal. So yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself to feel grateful for that. Okay, great. So Rick is saying I have a hard time. What happened here? It's something, the formatting looks off. I don't know why. I have a hard time to add an on-prem file to the gateway. Is it possible to showcase it sometime? Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Like a file, right? I mean, of course, let's I'm just thinking out loud. One option is that if you use the file on OneDrive, that sidesteps the gateway altogether. So that's one option. And Rick, if you don't mind, what kind of a file is it? Is it an Excel file? Is it something else? And I know there's a bit of a lag, so I'll wait for you while I think out loud. So we recently, so Kimberly Marie, she came to us, and so again, she's a hairstylist and a business coach. So it was a really interesting scenario, because not only did we have to build a solution for her, it was to be kind of packaged and ready to go. And I love this word turnkey. And where that word comes from is, imagine you getting a car and you put the key in and you go and it starts and runs. Everything works, right? So you want it to be turnkey enough that she can hand it off to her business coaching clients. And it's a turnkey solution when to say, oh, cool, now I'm going to use it, right? So it was pretty cool. And we talked about what is a data entry and all that sort of stuff. So we ended up using Google Sheets, which was good. And this was like a real teamwork between Teresa and Eric, who were pretty active in this project. And then we actually started using Google Forms, because it's so much easier. People are familiar with this. And of course, I mean, if you hear this, some people might say, oh, but Excel has forms too now, right? And there's Excel Online as well instead of Google Sheets. But guys, the thing is that oftentimes you're already using a technology and you're familiar with it. Why would you want to change, right? So again, I do feel that even the Microsoft under Satya is like a new Microsoft. It doesn't force you to change. And this is one example, Power BI, we were easily able to, or Eric was easily able to hook this up, and this went into Power BI. So just, yeah, thinking out loud, so you can have So I'm still waiting to hear from Rick. What kind of file is it? I would love to know that. But there are different options. You can use OneDrive. You can use Google Form, Google Sheets, something like that. What else could you do? Yeah. Otherwise, if it is an on-prem file, for truly an on-prem file, you would set up a gateway, and you have to set up a data source for it. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while, so I wouldn't want to venture out there. But maybe I'll think about it, and maybe I'll post like a follow-up video or something. Any other thoughts on the phone, or it's an Excel file? Okay. So yeah, for Excel file, I would encourage to try one of these. That way you totally sidestep the gateway. So by the way, guys, gateway, I think there's at least, so I know in the course I talk about the gateway stuff. So by the way, the course is, so on my channel, you have the first module of the course, essentially, this tutorial, this guy, Zero to Dashboard. That one is the first module in the main course, but then we have all these other modules, and and in the PowerBI.com platform, I do cover kind of the gateway, connecting to OneDrive, things like that. Let's see, cloud source, on-prem, and all of that. I'm not sure if it is on my YouTube channel, but yeah, frankly, if you can sidestep it, that's probably the best approach. But if you do have to, then it's doable. Of course, I mean, if you had something else, then you wouldn't have an option like SQL Server. I guess you could put a SQL Server in cloud as well, but that's a lot more heavy lifting. So the gateway option is there. I'll see. I'll tinker around and see if I'm brave enough to be willing to make a fool of myself while I'm trying to find this. Yeah, we'll give it a shot later on. Cool. Yeah, so Rick has it on his desktop, but I'm saying, hey, if you just post it on OneDrive, see how it works. And by the way, I'm pretty convinced of that. It's OneDrive and SharePoint have kind of merged. Is that not right? OneDrive, like OneDrive for Business, frankly, I think they're all kind of running under the same technology. So for example, if we go to, so when we have the live calls with my class, they have access to this folder, and anything that we create in the class, they get access to it. But let's just take one of those files. And so yeah, I mean, obviously it's on OneDrive for Business. It's synced to my local file, but it really lives in the cloud. And let's try this. I should probably close some windows. Okay, cool. So we got this. And the easiest way is I just open the file and I just go in here and I say copy path to clipboard. And sometimes it actually doesn't work, but this time it did. So once you copy path to clipboard, it gives you that web URL. And notice that this is on SharePoint, but this is, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you keep it on OneDrive, I think it'll work the same way. You get that path, and you do have to delete this question mark web equals to 1. So just grab that one, and you go to your Power BI, and you say get data, and I think if you can say Excel, but web, it figures it out. Doesn't matter. So let's try web, and you stick that URL in, hit OK, and it might ask me for my credentials. I'm not really sure. So yeah, whatever. Obviously, if it's credentialed, then you would want to sign in. And that's I think I'm assuming it's going to work unless it comes back with an error message, and that's it. So now you're connected to that table, and you can bring it in, and yeah, no need to worry about the gateway and stuff. So try that. I mean, yeah, I mean, gateway, otherwise you have to have the gateway running. If that's the only thing you're connecting to on-prem, just put it in the cloud. See if that works. All right. So let me know what you think of that. Let's see. I do want to answer Pawan's question. Let me see if there's something else that came in. Robert Wilson asks, is there... I'm just going to copy that. Interesting. So Rick is able to connect to an on-prem on-prem document. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Let me paste Robert's question and. Yeah. I'll. I'll. I'm not sure. So he's saying maybe it's the space in here. You would think that in this day and age, things would be smart about the space. Mm, yeah, I mean, short of you sharing your screen and showing me kind of what's going on, that might be tricky for me to really figure out what's going on. Okay, let's see. I don't know why. You see, sometimes these small things like that are driving me nuts. Like, I formatted using heading 3. Heading 3, right? Oh, wait, not all of it is heading 3. Why? It is heading 3. Oh, anyway, I don't know what's going on there. So Robert Wilson asks, is there a way for ODBC connected data to be filtered first and only download the necessary data, like crystal reports? It seems the entire table rows in my data get downloaded first. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. Oops, I didn't want to do that. So let's talk about this for a SQL server. Okay, I know you're using ODBC, but let's talk about SQL first. So let's say I connect to a SQL server, and I say, yep, this server, which is on this machine, so I can just say dot. You could also say localhost. And let's see, what's a big table that we have? We don't have millions of rows, but you know, we'll pretend we do. And I edit. Filer. And in here, I filter something out. Let's say I filter out to sales territory key 1. So imagine if we had hundreds of millions of rows earlier. Now we got less number of rows. Less number of rows. How would we know, by the way? Well, let's try it here. So if I go in here and gosh, there's a button to just say count rows. I can't find it. Oh, count rows. There it is. So let's try it. So earlier, I had 58,189 rows. Fair enough. And now after I filter it, let's see how many would there be. Count rows. 8579. And suppose this was a little more fantastic. I had 500 million, and then if I filtered, I got 5,000, something like that, or something really dramatic. Now, obviously, you don't want that. It goes to your source, gets the 500 million, did I say, rows, and then once it has those 500 million, it filters just down to that. So what I'm going to do is, let's see how good I am at this. So we'll say new trace. So I'm going to trace my SQL Server, database engine, connect, and I just want to see queries. So don't want to do this, don't want to do this, don't want to do this. SQL batch completed. I guess that's just it. So I'm going to run that, and let's see. Can I? So class sales is filtered. Let's see how this works. So close and apply. It's refreshing class sales, and if I go back to my trace, let's see what we got. So some version table routine wait. I'm getting some other stuff now. Hold on. Where is my real table? Sales, right? What? Where is that? Oh, there it is. There it is. Woo! There we go. So it ran a query, but notice when it ran the query, it said, oh, SQL Server, don't give me the 58,000 rows, only give me where sales territory is 1. And let's see if it shows how many records are returned. It does not in my trace, but we know that that's a smaller set. So this, by the way, is called query folding. And Power BI, the query editor, does try to do that. So if you have like a filter somewhere in there, what it's going to do is essentially what it's doing is it's taking this filter and folding it up into this step, which is pretty cool. And it does this automatically. Query folding is automatic. You can influence it. You cannot control it. You cannot directly control it. So, who was that? Who asked that question? Robert. So the way I think you can control it is instead of pointing to a table and then filtering, what you can say is, ODBC, maybe can you issue a query? Like if I connect to a SQL Server, I can connect to an advanced options and then write my query here. So I can say select star from p3.class.sales where sales territory key equals 1. There were some typos there, but you can specify like this and filter it, and that way it's gonna guarantee that it doesn't get the 500 million rows first and then filter it out. Because so SQL Server obviously is a Microsoft product, so that's where the query folding works best. It does try query folding for other sources as well. Maybe for an ODBC connector, it does not try that, doesn't have that capability or something like that. But I think if the ODBC connector does allow you to specify a statement like this, then you can force that. Let me know if that helped. So I'll say ideas. I'll just say query folding automatic example in SQL Server. Otherwise, plan B would be see if you can specify a SQL query in advanced option instead of connecting to data and filtering it then. That was a good question, actually. All right, let's see anything else. Oh, okay, awesome. All right, guys, looks like we're kind of petering out with questions. We've been here close to an hour and a half. Let's do a last call. So on the phone or on YouTube, if you have questions, now is a chance. I'm gonna think of your questions. I'm gonna take Pawan's question. Hopefully, Pawan, you're still online. And 2201. Oh yeah, I'm 2820. Bingo! Bam! The calendar video series does not have other videos to create step-by-step calendar dates. So let's go back to a calendar table. And so I would say that you don't need step-by-step. I'm giving you... so there's this example that we use that I heard in like a business book. And it talked about that it was actually... $100 startup. That's the book that I was reading. $100 startup. There we go. Of course, it connected it. Yeah. So that's the book that I was reading, and it talks about give them the fish. And it said when imagine you go to a restaurant and you order the salmon, and it's okay. They take down the order, and then they come back. A few minutes later, say, "Hey, sir, they're ready for you in the kitchen." And then they usher you to the kitchen, and they put a chef's apron on you, give you a knife, and say, "Yeah, there's your salmon. Skin it and do this and do that, and then prepare." I mean, that's not what we go in restaurant for, right? So, and so we talked about, sometimes your customers, they don't want to deal with the fish. Just cook the fish and give it to them. So that's what I've done with the calendar series. I have given you the fish, so you don't need to do any cleaning, any prep. So you don't need to. So the way that is set up, and again, maybe it's a specific scenario where you're stuck, and hopefully I can help you with that. But the way that's set up is you download that calendar table, and the download link is in there, and again the video, and what you do is and again the video explains all of it. You go to the calendar table, and you go to the query editor, which I'm in right now, and you just copy that, right click, copy that, and you can just paste it in the query editor in your own model. And when you do, after that, and again, the video talks through the whole thing, you have to change some settings. You have to change the start date, which you can just type in the date if you want. So I have 1/1/2014. You can change that. And then end date, you can change that too. This used to be hard coded. I changed it here, although I don't know if the download that you have online is changed as well. But you can specify the same way. You can say 1/1/2020, 2025. I don't care, whatever works for you. So again, the rule for calendar table is it spans all the dates in your data set, and that's it. And it's going to have chock full of stuff. Now, the first thing that I would say is, if you do not use a fiscal year, if you don't even know what a fiscal year is, then definitely do this. Delete the anything that says fiscal. If you do use a fiscal year, then there's another setting here, which is fiscal year end month, right? So that's the Microsoft. It started at July, ended in June. Even if you have a different start month, if your fiscal month starts in February, October, or something else, then you can adjust that. But otherwise, that's about it. And the video talks about the whole thing. Now, of course, calendar table has so much in there, and there's some videos in here, and I talk about some of my other tricks. There's more inside my course, and guys, I have unfortunately a growing list of ideas. It's up to like 6 or 7 of additional topics on the calendar table. So you can see this one has more videos than the calendar ones, but I have, because it's such a deep topic. So we were talking earlier when I was talking to Tamir, and I was saying how calendar table is just like any other lookup table, which is true in some sense. So, it's kind of those dualities. So it's true in some sense. In a lot of cases, we end up treating calendar tables special when we shouldn't, but it is special. If you really ask me that, it's one of those amazing things, and it lets you do so much. So the rich topic conversation there. So one thing there is, so you're going to get this baked and ready, right? I'm giving you the fish. You just change your start date, end date, boom, you're ready to go. You got everything you need in there. Now, of course, the part is that if you need like a specific column, like we were doing earlier, what if I wanted it to say Thursday 1/1/2014, and for that you would just use add column and just add it there. So you would say, if you want to add something of your own, you would just say add column. It's like, and this is what we had done earlier, and where I had said date, was it to text? I don't remember. I hear autocomplete is coming in here. So date, and you say DDD, and I don't know what you say. Why? Let's try that. If I got that right. Nope, almost. So so if you need something specific, you just add that in there. Oh, cool. Now I've done it twice. So you can always kind of add it there. And I'm not sure if it's on YouTube. So that would be my best answer. Now, I think in the course, I also show kind of behind the covers how I built the table, but you almost don't need it to kind of get started up and running. All right, so hopefully that helped. Let's say, okay, so a few more questions did come in. Let's take care of those. Let's see. So this was Robert. Interesting. So it says 01/34/39. Oops. Okay, so let's look at this guy. Boop. And where's my boop? By the way, I asked my kids the other day, what does a boop mean? I'm still not 100% sure. I think it's like touching heads or something like that. Or noses. They laughed at me. All right, so if we have a date and we change it to a slicer, you can have something like this. And there are other forms. You can change that. So between, before, after, list, drop down, relative. So you can use all of that. Oh gosh, what was I thinking? So yeah, so going back to the question and saying, hey, is there a way to do that using time frame? Oh, well, so I didn't understand the question first. So imagine you had a time frame, and first I felt that you would like to see something like this. Imagine instead of dates, it had hours, and you could just say, actually, you know what? You can definitely do that. So let's go. Blah, blah, blah. Let's. All right, guys, give me just 1 second. This is going to be pretty cool. I promise. So R 01 02. Is this gonna let me? Oh, nice. Oops. Okay. Period. Night. Day. So we talked about the lookup tables, who, what, where, when, how. And date calendar is like almost a universal lookup table. Every single model that I've built, it has that lookup table. And again, if you have any column which is of date, whether it has a month grain or year grain, I don't care, then you probably need a calendar lookup table. Now, if you have a time table, if you care about the time as well, sometimes the temptation is to use your calendar and have it be more granular. That's not the right approach. You need to have a separate timetable, and yeah, so you can build it wherever you want, and it's going to have. So first of all, you need to decide the grain that you want. Do you want to measure time in hours, in minutes, in seconds, in microseconds? What is the grain? So obviously, if you measure it in hour, you're going to have 24 rows, right? If you're going to measure it in minutes, like hour and minute, then it's going to have 24 times 60 rows, right? And so on and so forth, right? So that's going to be the size of your time table. And then just like a calendar table, so guys, so a table, so again, calendar table, this time table are not that different than any of your other lookup tables, such as product or customer or something like that. So what are those? What does the lookup table have? First of all, it has a key, right? So product key, customer key, and then it has attributes about that key. So what you have here is a key. In my case, I chose the grain to be R. So this is my key, okay? It uniquely identifies a row. And then I just have attributes about that row. Again, just like product table. So I have this product key, 1, and it has a name, it has a subcategory. So then the columns, you decide what you want here. So again, calendar, in a calendar table, we would have the key is the date column, and then there are these labels like, oh, for this day, the year is this, quarter is this. Again, just like a product or a customer table, no different. Same thing here. For time, you might have like, is it day, is it night, is it evening, depending on how you want to label it, how you want to slice and dice your data. Maybe you have shifts going in. So, oh, this is when the first shift is working, second shift. So you define these columns, and I just made up with these. And once you have this, you obviously connect your data to it, just like you would connect other tables. So using the R thing. So in your data, obviously I'm assuming you have the time. If you keep your time table to, let's say, an hour grain, then you would have to create a column in your data table which is at the hour grain as well. Otherwise, obviously you can't link it. Assuming you connect to it, then you just come in here and you say, give me the R slicer. And there you are. You can say, well, from give me for R's 11 to 23, from 10 to 23, or something like that. So at least on R level, it works great on a specific time. Like it's hard to make it be like like this and have like 8 a.m., 8 p.m. and all that. You can do that in a list. So in a list, if you show that, why is it sorting that way? That's so weird. I mean, this one, in this format, you can have it say 12 midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. That you can make it work. And then, of course, they can come in here and kind of, so hold on, let me change one setting here. So they can come in here and they can shift click. Oh, dang it. I was pretty sure shift click selects a whole range. Does it not? I'm so heartbroken right now, guys. Okay. Help me out. Show select. Yeah, I swear I think shift click worked. Anyway, so yeah, you can select a range. So Robert, let me know if that was on topic or I went way off. Maybe sometimes I do that, and I'm still not sure why the formatting is a little weird here. Okay, anything else? So Anthony's asking, do you do this weekly or monthly? So my friends, I do this weekly with my class. We meet on Thursday, and of course I'm that's almost like clockwork. We only take a break if it's like July 4th weekend, we're off. July 4th week, we're off. And if I'm traveling or something like that. But otherwise, we meet on a weekly basis. This public one, Talk Power BI. So guys, first of all, I'm so thankful to everybody who joined, everybody who's still on. Really appreciate that. We're almost getting to 2 hours in this call. But this has been a bit of hit or miss. And frankly, I'm not even sure if, so because sometimes I get on and there are no questions. And then it's really awkward. So I struggle then. So yeah, that's been a bit of a problem. So I'm not sure. So I don't do this that often. I don't know. Let's see. So you can see that I have been kind of irregular. I mean, last one was May 4th. This one is June 22nd. If there's maybe I'll ask everybody, the guys, do you really want me to keep doing this and get like maybe a core group of people who would be interested in this. Of course, my students are always there, and a lot of them are still on the phone, so that's great. But from the wider community of my followers, I'll see. So yeah, so it's pretty spotty. I have been, so this doesn't have all the dates. I have been doing this since almost the beginning of 2017. But yeah, so it's not very consistent. Yeah. So Oakley Turvey, I think, had a comment about something that we were discussing. Can you not just group the dates by 0.25 days? If you're doing 0.25 days, I think you're doing time. Oh wait, maybe you had a comment here. Oh yeah, I think you can group it however you want. Yeah, so I was just making stuff up. Yeah, so you can say a quarter of the day or something like that, and you can say the first. So wait, 24 hours, so 6 hours. So this will be day quarter one. I don't know if that's a thing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So and then you say day Q2 and so forth. So yep, you make this up. I mean, this same with the calendar table. You kind of you're the boss. So whatever labels work for you, however you want to see it in your reports. Again, you identify a key that is based on your grain, and then what labels you want to use. So the grain is the smallest level of detail you would want to see. So imagine if you were not interested in R. You know what, Avi, I don't care about the R. Who cares about the R? I do not. Then your grain could be quarter of the day. Then your timetable would look different. So then your timetable would be, just say, quarter of day, and it'll just be day Q1, day Q2, day Q3, and day Q4. Boom, right? That's it. That would be a table. And then, of course, you can have other labels on here. I don't know what you would put there, right? So again, think of it as product table. So yeah, that depends. What else did you drop off? Rick, awesome, man. Good to have you join. Difference, ready to see different view. I'll split my time. Awesome. I felt like I did something good. That's always a good thing, right? Do one good deed a day. So my friends, I'm going to sign off. But yeah, subscribe to me on my channel that way, and click the bell. Click the bell thing. That way you get notified whenever I go live for this or other live sessions. Send me an email. Drop me an email if this helped. Let me know if I should continue to do this, if this is helpful. And I'll just probably go ahead and ask as well. But yeah, I will see you on the next Talk Power BI. If you're a student, we'll meet on a regular Q&A call every week. Awesome, my friends. Bye on.
Bye-bye.